Hey guys, what's going on today? BOJoeKO here. We are back with our NHL 15 GMO commentary following the Vancouver Canucks. And unfortunately, we're about getting ready to start the year number 3 off-season for our Vancouver Canucks. So unfortunately, our playoff run ended fairly quickly with a sweep of the Winnipeg Jets. The second, I think, wildcard team swept our team out in the playoffs here. And as you guys can see here, I'll show you guys the playoff tree. As it shows, Winnipeg didn't make it to the Western Conference Finals. They beat Calgary in 7, but then they got swept out to St. Louis. And as you guys can see, it was a St. Louis Blues Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup Final, which actually was it's a pretty interesting Stanley Cup Final, which had the Tampa Bay Lightning taking that over the Blues in 7 games. So as you guys can see, St. Louis with 2 sweeps on their way to the Cup, but unfortunately did not get it done in the Stanley Cup Finals. And Winnipeg, at least they made it to the Western Conference Final. So, you know, they were one of the best teams still up there when it came down to it. All right, so, oh, whoops, I wanted to stay in stats. I wanted to go to the awards. I already simulated up to the draft. That's fine. All right, awards for this year. Let's show you guys the awards for this past year. All right, so the Stanley Cup went to the Tampa Bay Lightning after Pittsburgh won it twice in a row, so they broke that up for them. Presidents went to the Toronto Maple Leafs, St. Louis Blues, Constance Campbell, and Prince of Wales went to Tampa Bay. All right, so here's the player awards. Art Ross went to Sidney Crosby this year. Hart Memorial, Steven Stamkos. James Norris went to PK Subban. Lady Byng, Tyler Seguin. Calder Memorial went to Sam Reinhart. Conn Smythe, Steven Stamkos. Vezina, Carey Price. William N. Jennings, Carey Price, and Dustin Tokarski. Bill Masterton, Dennis Seidenberg. Frank J. Selke, Sidney Crosby. Ted Lindsay, Steven Stamkos, and Maurice Richard, Tyler Seguin. So there are your awards for this last year. And now, since we are getting ready to start the draft, let's take a look at our contracts here, and let's see what this Vancouver Canucks team is going to be looking at going into the draft here. So, first off, you guys might notice something there. If you saw it in the playoff stats, you saw that Alex Galchenyuk was our leading point total, or our leading point performer, because, as you guys can see, if I were to sort by contracts, no $7 million contract up there, which means, because I don't get the pop-up for it, which kind of sucks, but that means that Daniel Sedin has indeed retired at the age of 36 and around 85 overall. So Daniel Sedin is now gone from this Vancouver Canucks team. Unfortunately, his contract is no longer available. We have $15.5 million worth of cap space available going into next year with, which is a lot of cap. We are probably going to be able to re-sign mostly everybody, because 15.5, well, then maybe I should have a little bit more cap, or a little bit less cap room, you'd say. Well, it's because Ryan Miller is gone as well. So both of the players that I kind of expected would retire have retired. Ryan Miller has retired, I believe at age 35. And there's Patrick Polvika there, 79 overall. He'll probably be ready for next year as a backup role. Eddie Lack will more than likely get in the starts this year. So the way I see it, this Vancouver Canucks team going into next year is kind of on a mini rebuild, because maybe yes and maybe no, depending on how you look at it. We could have a nice little jump from possibly one of our players, but then again, who knows exactly how big or not a jump they could get, because we really don't have a first-line winger again. Alex Galchenyuk and Grigorenko, as you guys can see, have stayed at 80 overall. Grigorenko has to get re-signed. Nyquist still stayed at 85. Cassian actually dropped down to an 84. Benino still at 84. I think he might have actually dropped down as well to an 84. Abdelkader still stayed at 83. Gotch went back up to an 82. Horvat and Shinkaruk are both at 82s now, which is good. Gaunt's up to 81 for Tannen, McCann. All those guys there on the main roster still looking pretty good, but we're still missing that first line forward. Maybe we'll have to go look at it for something in free agency, or possibly make a trade for one of them. But Fowler there, Edler, Hamhuis, Hamilton, Tanev, and Stan. Still the defense is looking good. All 85s pretty much, except for Fowler at 87. Still looking pretty solid there for defense. Obviously, Hamilton and Fowler are 2 young guys looking there, but Edler's still getting up there, but he's still going to be sticking around for a little bit longer. All right, so that's the main roster guys in the system. There's one guy there, Hogboom, who's already up to an 80, so he looks like he could be ready for this next year, depending on what happens with Stanton. But I think he'll be ready next year, depending on how good of a jump he gets. He might be able to play over Stanton. A lot of our defensemen are getting up there. They're getting better, a little better by better. They're looking, and then just the forwards wise is in the system there. Vey, he's up. He went down to an 83. Condra, Jensen, 80s for both of them. Fox, Zalewski, 78s for those two. So it's a lot of waiting game that we're going to be playing around with these guys. But we do need a first line forward. We do need to possibly get rid of some players going into next year. If I had to figure out who I wanted to get rid of, honestly, I really don't want to get rid of anybody. We have a lot of cap room. There's no real reason for us to trade anybody right now. If we want to make a trade, we wait for the beginning of the year to start. There's no real reason to make a trade at the draft and try to pick up somebody. But we do have a fairly high draft pick this year to take a first rounder. If there are a player that I possibly could make a trade for, I'll see about it, but I think we should just get right into the draft, to be honest. Let's just go into the draft, get into the draft, and let's see what we can do. Obviously, if we want to make our picks, we can make the picks. All right, so let's go for the scouted players here. Scouted players here. Okay, so we can take a look at the projected players here. And as you guys can see, there's this guy, a Finneganov, a franchise defenseman. Possibly going to be taken by the Philadelphia Flyers here. Let's see if Philly, we could maybe make a trade for that pick. If we wanted to trade the Flyers for this pick, because that's a franchise defenseman right there. That's actually Nashville's first round pick, so they must have made a trade with them for somehow. If we wanted to get that freaking first round pick from the Philadelphia Flyers to pick up that franchise defenseman, we would have to give up a draft pick here. We would have to give up the our first round pick, obviously, for that pick. And then it would have to be somebody else as well. Like I said, goaltenders, Bowman, Leck. We would have to give up a guy like Polvika, but honestly, I'm not up for that at all. Defenseman, there's really nothing we could give up defensively either. I mean, like Fowler and Hamilton, we have to keep both of those guys. Only other person I could see is maybe giving away Alexander Edler and our first round pick to pick up that franchise defenseman, but who knows how good of a player that guy could be. Like I said, I definitely, that would be more than 50 players in the organization too, so it's just going to be a hassle to try to get that pick from Philadelphia. It would be nice to pick up that franchise defenseman, but you know, it is what it is. But I'm just going to take a look at the scouted players. Actually, right here, it's good because the clock stops, which means Philadelphia is not on the clock at all. So we can take a look at what we have to go here. Remember, we're going to be going for defensemen. We're going to be looking at defensemen here. So Finneganov, he's up there. Dumba, Rahum, we know these guys up there. Ablin, Quincy, Sarvatet, first rounder. Adranov, Svensson, Medenov, Erisberger, all first rounders there. Remember we were looking at that Swift guy who's a first or second rounder, but he's projected to be like a seventh defenseman. I think we do have a very good chance of getting at least somewhere in this kind of range. This guy would be. I'm seeing these two, the Swedish guy and the Russian guy, as two possible pickups here for some defense. And I'm taking a look at this guy, which would be Sven Svardet or Svartvadet. So I'm definitely going to, I can't pin him, which is unfortunate, but Sven Svartvadet would be one person I'd be looking at because he's got potential to be a top 4 guys in offensive defenseman. And same thing with this guy, Vyacheslav Medvedev, who's also a top 4 projected offensive defenseman from Russia. Scouted him 12 times, actually. He's looking pretty good. But then also, these guys are top 6s. If any of these guys drop down, I'd be highly surprised. But more than likely, I probably will hopefully be grabbing up one of these guys. If Svarvadet or Medenov is still there, I'd be more than happy. I definitely would be up to that thing. Alright, so I wish I could sim this pick. Sim options. Sim pick. Okay. Alright, so they took Matvechak. Wow. The Philadelphia Flyers might have just fucked up right there. They took Matvechak with their first pick. Well then, sim options. Sim that pick for the Rangers. They're probably going to take Nordland. Wow. Philly, they're not taking that franchise defenseman. When did we pick, actually? Vancouver, wow, Philly was like Detroit last year. They have 3 picks in the top 10. Canucks. We don't pick till 24? Why are we so late? I guess because we finished like top in our division. Wow. All right then, interesting. So they took Nordland. Wow. They took Nordland. That is weird. Sim the pick. Okay, so then Philly took a Finnegan off there, which is smart by them. All right, Florida. Kindberg. None of these guys are showing up on our radar, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they could be very good players. Who knows? But I'll definitely go take a look at those guys in Philly when they show up there. So Washington, Byers, a bottom 6 medium potential forward. Good. Arizona, top 6 AHL forward, and Ryder. None of these guys are showing up on our things. Harrison, top 6 AHL forward. Philly's going to take Dumba. Okay, so they took their first pick was pretty questionable, but their second picks are not that bad. AHL starter goaltender for the Devils, Pothier or Pothier. Buffalo takes Hajat. Man, these guys are really, really off our radar. Remember, we didn't scout forwards all too much, so maybe one of those top 4 guys will be in our radar. Who knows? Some options for Colorado. We'll take it to, okay, so Rahum went to Colorado, went 13, and Duchesne got picked there. Detroit's going to take Despres. Wow, Despres dropped a lot. He was, I think, a top 5 forward potential player to go up there. All right, Ekman's up there for San Jose. Blue Jackets are going to take Charo. Not on our radar. Pittsburgh's going to take Abelin. All right, Calgary takes Hemlin, and we're just going to sim this one pick from Chicago, and they're going to take Halverson. All right, so let's go to the scouted players right now, and let's take a look at who is actually still available right now, projected. All right, so there's still that. Oh, Afinogenov. He's not up there, is he? I thought he was taken by Philadelphia. Pretty sure he was taken by Philadelphia. But Harrison and Dumba, yeah, shouldn't these guys be off the board? I'm pretty sure they should have been. They should have been off the board by now. Current pick, yeah, we're waiting for Detroit to pick, but we're coming up in 24. I thought it takes the guys off the board once it picked them. Might be a little bit of a glitch, who knows? But draft activity. Message center doesn't pop up for us. Oh, yeah, well, that was just a message center for them. Yeah, it's weird that they're showing up. That's pretty weird. There. Yeah, it's weird that it didn't show up. All right, let's just go to, let's just sim to our pick. Sim to the user pick. I can call timeouts if I wanted to, so sim to the user pick. All right, so Barney Hedberg. Okay, so Montreal took a goaltender. Let's make our pick. We got 3 minutes to make our pick here. There should be some pretty good players still left available, forward-wise and defense. All right, so a lot of potential players here. Potentials, yeah, it's a lot of. I want to go defense. I gotta go defense here. Yeah, those guys that I was talking about are still up there and available, which is good. Okay, so these 3 guys are first rounders. We can take either one that we want. I'm going to take one of these guys. So I can either take Svartsadev or Medenov. Do I want to take the super Swede offensive defenseman, or do I want to take the Russian offensive defenseman? Both of them projected to be first round selections, which is very good. One of them's going to drop, which is unfortunate, but let's see who we want to take here. Svetsvedev's got some good puck skills, shooting, skating, and senses. Defense looks medium. Medvedev, high potential for a good defense as well. He has more green. He has more green than the other guy did. He's 19. He's 20. He's got medium potential for defense, and the other guy as well. Medvedev has high potential in all of them. Both of them look pretty good, to be honest. Both of them look very, very good. We only scouted Medvedev 3 times. Maybe that's why we don't know that much. Russia, yeah. I'm taking Medvedov. I'm going to take the Russian. He has a better outlook projective-wise than that guy. We're going to take Medvedev with that pick. All right, we don't have a second, which is unfortunate, so we can sim all the way to our user pick now, which is going to be all the way in the 3rd round, if I do believe so. Maybe there'll be some still good players left. Yep, 3rd round in the 24th. 3rd round, 24th overall pick. I definitely could have made a trade with one of them to maybe pick up that other guy as well, but still. All right, projected players here for this round seed. There's still 2 third-round guys left in Nell and Jung. But I want to focus on defense as well, yet again. Top 6, top 4, 7th defenseman, and unknown for this guy. He is unknown. Jerry Boyle, 3rd round defense. He is 3rd round projected. Ooh, that baby guy is still up here. Remember, we had him scouted. David Baby, a third round selection. Defensive defenseman from Swift Current, 3rd round, 6'3", 230. Guy's a big man. He's a big defensive defenseman, 6'3". Defensive category projection looks good. We scouted him 6 times. Did we scout any of these guys other than like Brady Regan? He's a defensive defenseman, 6'3". Sergei Yakupov. Scott Oda, we didn't scout that guy either. DeBoyle. We also got David Baby. Should we take David Baby? You know, he's got the projection and he is 3rd round. Yeah, I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to take Baby. I'm going to take another defenseman. I want to stock up my defensive prospects. Alright, so sim options. We can sim to the user pick again. Should have a couple picks in here. 4th round pick again. Alright, same position again. Like I said, now it's just going to be going for projected players here, because I don't think there's any like potentials guys up here that are good. Yeah, just top 6 AHL forwards. Alright, so I'm just going to go for projected here for a forward. We really don't need centers all too much. We do need to stock up some right wing players here. So there's 3 4th round guys here, a sniper, a power forward, and a sniper. I might grab up this guy, Jack Bloodoff, 4th rounder, as a power forward. Yeah, I'm going to grab up that guy. I'm going to grab Bloodoff as a power forward. Low potential as the other forward, but still. SimCity user pick. Okay, 5th round. So we're just going for potential guys. Let's see, we can grab up I'll grab up a center here. Pruden is a playmaker, 2-way forward, 2-way forward. Is there any pin guys still left up here? I doubt it. Yeah, 5th round guys. 5th round centers. Alright, so Pruden, DeRoche, Zeperi, Jacques DeRoche, David Zeperi, Blake Spears, Terrell Gerard. Jesus. Yeah, his name's Jesus. Fuck it. We'll take an American. We'll take a playmaker. Why not? Alright, sim to the user pick again. That was our 145th overall pick. Alright, 6th round again. Alright, let's see here. Projected. Undrafted. 5th and the 6th round guys now. Alright, let's take a left winger now. Picard, Duncan Fontaine, and El Eunuch. And these guys, 6th and 7th round. Alright, how about goaltenders? Undrafted guys, and then defense. Still got some defenders up here. Maybe I'll take another one of them in like my 7th round. But let me get a right winger here. 2-way forward. Gerhardt. Austin Gerhardt, he's a 6th or 7th rounder. Actually, no, I don't want any of these guys. I want the left wingers because they were higher up, 5th or 6th round. Yeah, one of these 2 guys. Either take Picard or Duncan. We could take this guy, Lawrence Duncan, or we could take Len Picard. Sniper, I'll grab the playmaker. I will grab the playmaker, and then I think I'll take another defenseman with my 7th round pick. Yep, alright, my 7th round pick here, my final pick, my 204th overall pick. I'm going to take... I think everybody's just undrafted now. Yep, everybody's undrafted. Let's take defenseman here. Ooh, they're all undrafted, actually. Anyway. Clapham. A bunch of these guys are like top AHL defenseman. Kostopoulos. Goaltenders, all undrafted. Anybody showing up here drafted? Left wings. Nope. Alright, we're going to go for potential then. Just somebody with some high potential. Satari, there's a Finnish guy up there. So top 6 AHL defenseman. Ulier is another playmaker. And defenseman, like I said. There's a bunch of these defensemen do have potential, which is good. Burnett. 2-way defender. Yeah, let's take Burnett. Why not? We'll take with our Burnett, and we can sim to the user pick. I think we're done, though. Yep, draft is now complete. Okay, we can take a look at our players now. So there's our selections. Medvedov, took him 24th. Baby, Bloodhoff, Pruden, Duncan, and Burnett. All right, so there is our drafting for this year. And now we can go on to the re-sign phase. And we can check out some of those players and see how they turned out. That'll be interesting. All right, so re-sign phase. We should not have a problem re-signing most of our players because we have a lot of cap room. We have 36, actually, we have 36.7 mil worth of cap available, which is a lot. We have a ton of cap room available. All right, so let's go check out here. So goaltenders, Bowman, yeah, we could probably sign one of these goaltenders now, which is good. Probably Allmark, we can sign him. Probably Bowman, he could probably play in the AHL as well, which is good. All right, so we'll do that. There, we didn't draft any of those guys. So let's take a look at defensemen here. Take a look at the 2 defensemen that we drafted. All right, so Medvedov, low potential for a top 6 forward. So that's, or a top 6 defenseman, which is kind of what we were looking at. Chistov, we know about him. Burnett, top 4 AHL defenseman. And Baby is a 7 defenseman. So defense, once again, not a strong point, but we did get at least one defenseman that looks good there in Vyashkov Medvedov. I'm wondering who took that Swede. Maybe the Swede would have been a little bit better. Who knows? But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, so there's that. Right wingers now. Let's see about Bloodhoff, top 6. Yeah, he didn't really turn out too great either. Duncan, he didn't turn out too well. And then centers. I think one of our centers turned out good. Yeah, Pruden did. He was the 7th round guy, bottom 6 defenseman. He's Jesus Pruden, 66 overall. Bottom 6 potential to become a good forward, so that's good. At least 2 of our picks actually were not terrible. All right, so let's go to goaltender. So let's see how fast we can make the re-sign stage, get this over and done with. All right, so Allmark, we're gonna sign him, offer him a contract on a 2-way for contract 2-way for 3 years. Why not? 5.7. There you go. 74 overall goaltender. Good. And Bowman, I think we'll leave him unsigned one more year. We'll leave him as an unrestricted free agent. We'll let him continue to play in the juniors, even though actually no, he's an AHL starter. What does he actually consider as another goalie? Yeah, we'll let him play still in his junior. Why not? For his junior team. All right, so Baby we can leave unsigned. Burnett we can leave unsigned. Chistov we can leave unsigned. Medvedov, we will probably sign him. Actually, no, I'll leave him unsigned too. He's 19. Let those guys play unsigned, sure. All right, so Tanev now. I think that's pretty much it. It's just Tanev and Wickstrand. So this Wickstrand guy I'm going to release. All right, so Wickstrand is gone. You wouldn't really need him out there. Doesn't help AHL guys. Doesn't really matter. All right, so we can re-sign Tanev though. Tanev still, he is considered a top 4 defenseman right now, is he? Yes, he is. He is considered a top 4 defenseman, 85 overall defensive defenseman. 2 years. 2 years is actually fine with me. 4 and then 6, so 4.1, 4.15. 4.15 for Tanev for 2 years. That should be more than enough for him to get him done. All right, right wingers now. Bloodhoff, we'll leave him unsigned. Archibald, let's take a look at this guy. Darren Archibald is a grinder. Minor league scoring forward. I'm going to release him. He's only 78 overall. He's not going to help the team out in any which way, so whatever. Eric Condra, still considered a depth forward. I might just go out and sign somebody in free agency. He's 30. He's going to continue to drop anyway. He was playing him on the 4th line as a depth role anyway, so that's fine. Jensen still got that potential, so you know what? I'm going to re-sign Jensen again, offer up a contract to him. Still wants that 2-year, the 2-way contract, which is good. 3 years on a 2-way. That way, if he does jump, I can get him for a good deal. There you go. Jensen. All right, left wingers now. Okay, Duncan, we're going to leave him unsigned. Justin Applicator, I think I will re-sign him, and same thing with Shinkaruk. Let's get Shinkaruk, though, first. Shinkaruk wants 1.9 for 2 years. I definitely think I'm going to re-sign. I'm going to see if I can get Shinkruk for a little bit of a elongated year. Since I do have a lot of cap room, I can extend his years up. I think I'm going to give him a 6-year deal. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 6-year deal because I do think he will start to jump a lot. So I'm going to give him a 6-year deal for 3 points. What would that be? 3 and then 1. So that'd be 3.375 for 6 years for Hunter Shinkruk. That should be a pretty solid deal. Sign him for long term. Why not? And then Justin Abdelkader, I do think I am going to re-sign him. He might drop a little bit, but he'll still be a solid 4th line player for us. 3 years I think is a little bit too much for a 30-year-old. I'm going to give him 2 for 2.7, so 2 and then 1, so 2.475 for Justin Abdelkader. Get him back on the team. And then centers. Alright, so Pruden, we'll leave Pruden unsigned. Nick Bonino needs to be re-signed. Alright, let's offer up Nick Bonino a contract, 2 years. That's perfectly fine with me. He's still a 2nd line forward, which is good. 3.5, so what, 3.15. Actually, I could get him for 3 mil on the dot. Actually, no, 3.15 is better. Yeah, 3.15. Actually, it's 3.1. Actually, be the correct amount to give Bonino. Alright, Marcel Gotch. Do we want to get Gotch back? Yeah, he's still good defensively. Might as well. Might as well get him back again for a 4th line role. Why not? If not a 3rd line role, a 4th line role, definitely. Once again, 3 years, way too much. Get him for another 1-year deal for 2.7. I'm perfectly fine with just giving him that. Yeah. Actually, just lower it down to 2. 2 and then 1. So, really, I could get him for this. Realistically. I'll see if he accepts that. If he rejects, I'll give him a little bit higher. Alright, Dane Fox. High potential for a top 9 forward. 78 overall for him. Let's offer him up a contract. He wants, yeah, I was going to say. 2-way. Ooh, Dane Fox. Looks like he might be jumping next year. Interesting. So, I think I can get him for 2 years if I offer him up the max AHL contract. Okay. Brendan Gaunce. Let's see what Gaunce wants. Gaunce is still a depth forward. 2 years on a 2-way. Yep. Yep, same thing with that. With Gaunce. I can't offer him up, but he should jump next year. So 1 more year in the minors for Gaunce, and I think he'll be ready to go. There you go. Mikhail Grigorenko and Lyndon Bay. We have to re-sign these guys. Alright, so let's get Grigorenko back, though. He's going to want him a lot. Yeah, I figured that much. I think a 5-year deal would be good for him as well. Yeah, 5-year deal for Grigorenko. 6.8, so we can offer him. Take off almost a mil on him, so 5.9. Whoops. Yeah, 6 and then 3, so that'd be 9. So 5.9. 5.9 mil for 5 years for Grigorenko should be solid for him. And then Lyndon Bay, same thing for him as a solid 3rd liner for right now. I'm going to give him a 2-year deal because I don't know how good or bad he's going to go in the next couple of years. So 2.55 for Lyndon Bay for 2 years. Good. And that should be pretty much it. That should be pretty much everybody. That should be pretty much everybody. We will have a fun time in free agency for sure this year. Free agency is going to be a fun time for the Canucks. That's for damn sure. So we're going to have a lot of cap room. If there's some big names out there, we can definitely sign some players. All right, so Abdelkader's good. Gotch is good. Vey accepted. Bonino, Tanev, Grigorenko, Jensen. Dane Fox rejected. He did not want a 2-way deal. All right, Gaunce, Shinkruk, Olmark, good. Okay, so I think it was just Dane Fox was the only person that we did not get re-signed. Let me just see. Whoops. All expiring. Yeah, this is much easier if I do this. Do it this way. It's much easier. Alright, so we're going to leave him unsigned. Yep. Medvedov, yeah, we're going to leave him unsigned. Although I do want to see if I can get him AHL time, but I'll leave him unsigned for right now. Duncan Bloodoff, yeah. Dane Fox, let's see. He wants 1 mil on a 1-way deal, but there's no way you're getting that. Dane, I'm sorry, you're not getting that. 1-year deal then with that. We'll see what Dane Fox is. Oh, I've never seen that. That's cool. I like how they give a legend. That's pretty unique, I guess. Also sucks how I have to go out all the way out here to freaking advance the day. If Dane Fox rejects that, then I'll have to give him a one-way deal and send him down. Alright, come on, Dane. Let me see what you're going here. There you go. See. Okay, so he didn't want the 2-year on that weird deal, but he'll take the 1 year. Alright, so that's pretty much it for our for the re-signs. Everybody's back pretty much, and we still have 18.3. We have $18.37 million of cap available for free agency, so that should be pretty fun. So if we were to look at our lines as they set up right now, without adding in the overall jumps, we have Galchenyuk, Grigorenko, and I guess Gustav Nyquist on the first line for right now. Second line, I guess, will be Bonino, Cassian, and then I guess Cassian is not going to be... There's something about me not wanting Cassian, but the way I'm seeing it is I can see possibly Hunter Shinkaruk getting a nice little jump and becoming a second liner, so that way Cassian can get moved back down to the third line. Or I could see maybe like a guy like Bo Horvat getting better as well. Honestly, I think Bo Horvat and Hunter Shinkaruk both of them had really good years. So I can see either of them jumping up a good bit and becoming a second liner. So that way I can move Cassian back down to the third. So if that's the case, Cassian gets moved down to the third. Shinkaruk or Horvat plays with Bonino. And maybe Nyquist if we get a first liner. And then my fourth line, probably Gotch, Abdelkader, and somebody else. Maybe Gauntz will be ready if he gets a nice little overall boost as well. So there's some question marks definitely on offense for our first liner, definitely. But depth-wise, we're still looking pretty solid depth-wise. We want to get a better second line. There needs to be some changes on that second line. The second line last year really did not get us any help whatsoever. Nyquist did perform a lot better near the end of the year, but we want to get a better second line definitely established for next year, no doubt. Defensively, I think we're pretty solid with Fowler, Edler, Hamhuis, Hamilton, Tanev, and Stanton. Maybe Hogboom can take Stanton's place this year, who knows. That way Ryan Stanton can maybe possibly be like trade bait as well. We'll have to see how good of a boost Hogboom gets. And then goaltender, we need a starting goaltender because Eddie Lack is only a backup. So if there's a starting goaltender out there in free agency, maybe we can pick one up. Polvika, maybe he'll get a nice little boost because he is 79 overall. Like I said, he's still considered a minor league starting goaltender. If he's a minor league starting goaltender, I'll send him back down. I'll sign a goaltender in free agency to play backup because I want to play him where he needs to be played. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's go simulate up to free agency first, and then that way we can take a look at who's available in free agency. And then get your guys' suggestions for what the Canucks should do. So let's simulate all the way up here to free agency. We got, like I said, Vancouver's going to have a fun time in free agency this year with 18 mil. Especially if there's a really, really good-looking stud in free agency. We can have some fun. We can have some fun. Because we got a lot of cap room. We need a first-line player. We need a first-line forward, most definitely. So if there's one of them out there in free agency as an unrestricted free agent, more than likely the Canucks can bring them on because they got a nice little group of young players definitely coming up on their team so far. Defense is the only kind of trouble that the Canucks need right now. It's kind of aging, so we definitely want to fix that right now. But there are still two really good defensemen that we have in Fowler and Hamilton coming up. All right, so it doesn't look like there's a stud free agent available. Let's go to unrestricted guys first. And unrestricted free agents, it's going to take a while. So, yeah, that's it. Patrick Berglund and Lauri Korpikoski are the big names available here for this year's free agency, unrestricted-wise. So 84 overall is a top 6 forward. So yeah, if we need a first line forward, we're gonna have to make a trade for one. All right, so let's go to the forwards here for the unrestricted guys. Maybe I shouldn't just pick unrestricted them. Maybe just pick all. I think it'll go by faster. It's lagging a good bit when I tried to sort it by unrestricteds. So yeah, so Berglund, Korpikoski, Gagliardi, Havlat. Nothing really too engaging there for offense. Defense, let me see. Maybe there's some good defensive players. No, there are not. There's no good defensive players either. Falk is the only good one there, but he's only 79 overall. Goaltenders? Any good goalies? McIntyre, that's it. Wow. Alright, well, ooh, there's an elite guy down there, though. Is that Alex Dubois? That is Alex Dubois. He's a medium potential to become elite. I will definitely sign that guy. No doubt in my mind, I will sign that guy to whatever kind of contract he wants. But there are, that guy's up there too, Nikita Serbinkov. A lot of young players, though. A really good goaltender, though, Dubois. That's going to be a solid pickup for our team there. But defensively, there's nobody really available, to be honest. And potential-wise, doesn't look like there's anything good potential-wise. Yeah, 7 defensemen potential. Let me just sort it. Sorting it. It's just top 6s and top 4s. That's it. Obviously, there's the prospects, but they have been in there for like the past couple times, so there's no real reason to pick any of those guys up. And then forward-wise for our players here, let's see. Maybe there's some good potential players. There's some top 9 forwards, which isn't bad. Just sort it by this guy's real quick so you guys can take a look at it. Yeah, the best player that you got down there is Simmons and Tot. Tot's actually not that bad. He's a top 9 forward. 23, Philip Tot. High potential, too. It's good. DeLuca's actually pretty good, too. He's a younger age, and he's a higher overall, too. Anthony DeLuca, yeah. So, you know, the prospects are always going to be there, which is nice. But overall speaking, nothing exciting for this free agency at all. I don't even know if there might be any point in going out and getting one of these guys. Maybe one depth player, maybe like a depth forward for us for the 4th line. Maybe a guy like Lori Korpikoski for that 4th line, or maybe even a guy like CJ Gagliardi for our 4th line wouldn't be too bad either as a 2-way forward. Somebody with like a good, really good defensive category. Not Conjure, we already know about Conjure, but maybe like Lori Korpikoski. He's actually not that good defensively. McClement, I know, is pretty good defensively. Patrick Keys, Ryan Jones, Jordan Nolan, Surrey, Christo. Is that Danny Christo? Is that Danny Christo? It is Danny Christo. How about that? Remember when he was good for last year? But yeah, all right. So yeah, it's gonna be okay. I was expecting a lot for cap space. That's the problem, though. We're going to need to sign some of these guys because we're going to be well under the cap. So that's one of our problems here. We could go out and sign Berglund if we want to, just because we can. You know, he only wants 3 years or something like that. We could lower his years down, offer him more money, but we do need to sign some people because we need to fill out the cap space. So let me know what your guys' suggestions you think that we should do going into this free agency, because we need to sign some guys because we're going to be under the cap. And we need to sign players for our team. So I think it's gonna be a rebuilding year for this Vancouver Canucks team. Honestly, maybe like trade some of the defensemen away, get some prospect defensemen, get some draft picks, draft up nicely for once, and I could see this being a rebuilding year, to be honest. So let me know what you guys think. Leave your suggestions about what the Vancouver Canucks should do during free agency, trade-wise as well, and I'll see you guys next time.